Okay, nobody is gonna go down there in the comment section and tell me, hey Lego, you should have talked about this yesterday. Why are you making this video now? All this stuff on Twitter happened yesterday, and now that you're making it a day after, and just a few hours before we see another Vancouver-Toronto game, that makes this video worthless. Just stop. Okay? What we're talking about here is something that was really popular on social media, oddly enough, the past few days. It involves Vancouver Canucks defenseman Alex Edler and Toronto Maple Leafs forward Wayne Simmonds. Now, if you've been watching the Toronto Canucks games recently, you would have seen exactly what happened and why this is well, honestly, I don't really think it's that big of a deal, but it's a big deal on social media. It's something that a lot of people have been bringing up to the point that Leafs fans and Canucks fans have been in very big debates, very big discourse of confrontation over the past 48 hours-ish. And as a result, I'd like to give my own thoughts as to what happened, why exactly people are making a fuss about this, and just overall why I think it's kind of dumb, to be honest. Firstly, the fact that people are talking about this is kind of dumb. Secondly, I think the entire conversation that people are having is kind of dumb as well. So, Alex Edler, a few games ago against the Toronto Maple Leafs, ended up kneeing Zach Hyman, taking him out for a few months, something like that. I completely forgot the diagnosis, but he's not in the lineup anymore because Alex Edler kneed the guy as Hyman was trying to break into the Vancouver Canucks zone. This was seen by everybody as kind of the same thing. Dirty, sucky, can't do that, suspension worthy. He got a suspension, good for him. Absolutely terrible play right there. Alex Edler should not have done that. Absolutely not. That was completely uncalled for. However, that's kind of where the line ends when you think about what Canucks fans think of this scenario and what Leafs fans think of this scenario. Particularly, Kevin Bieksa on the Hockey Night in Canada program that night said that it wasn't really something that Edler was meaning to do. He just instinctually stuck his foot out there, trying to avoid a hit, and he caught Hyman in the knee. Now, a lot of people would be quick to point out the idea that, when you're playing a game as fast-paced as hockey, you instinctually do things that you don't really have too much time to think about. And Alex Edler sticking his knee out on Zach Hyman when he said that he had not really too much time left to avoid a hit is something that people are debating about as to whether or not that was an instinction. I'm not going to talk about that here. Instinction or not, I doubt Alex Edler wanted to go out there and hurt the guy because, of course, who wants to go out there and injure people? Furthermore, I have a lot more ideas in my mind circulating as to why exactly Alex Edler would particularly not want to be that kind of guy who hurts somebody, but we'll get into that a little bit more later. Give it a 2-game suspension, and Alex Edler comes back into the Vancouver Canucks lineup for what is essentially the Canucks' first game against Toronto with Edler back. Toronto played against Vancouver again after the Edler hit on Hyman, but Edler wasn't in the game because he had a suspension. So the Leafs game 2 days ago against the Canucks was the first actual Leafs game where the Leafs were playing Alex Edler. Because in the game where he ended up kneeing Hyman, he got a game misconduct, therefore the Leafs didn't have any opportunity to go out there and actually enforce what is the code to Alex Edler. The code usually is, hey, you hurt one of our guys, we're gonna go out there, gonna beat you up, and then we're gonna be okay with it. And Alex Edler, even though he did get a suspension, the Toronto Maple Leafs didn't actually fulfill that code in that entire time that Edler was suspended. So in one of the first shifts of the previous game, we saw Wayne Simmonds come over to Alex Edler, challenge the guy to a fight, kind of go at him, dog him a little bit, and then Edler is like, okay, he takes off his gloves one by one. He doesn't drop them like the normal enforcer does, because this is Alex Edler's first career fight in 900 games. And pretty much, Wayne Simmonds just goes out there and beats the crap out of him, straight up. Like, Edler doesn't even throw a punch. He just kind of turtles, and he lets him get the beating. And in my head, I'm thinking, okay, cool. They did the thing. They went out there, they gave Edler a piece of their minds, and now, because Edler accepted the fight, he's taken the major, and Wayne Simmonds is going to the box as well, we have ourselves what is a done deal, right? Now, things get a little bit weird, because at this point, after the game, like a day after the game, actually, I'm seeing both Canucks fans and Leafs fans all over my Twitter feed just arguing to heck about this entire Edler-Simmonds thing. A lot of Canucks fans in particular were upset at this interaction. Some were upset because Edler was forced to fight. Oh, he already served his suspension. Why does he need to go out there and answer the code? The code is something that a lot of people have been throwing into this conversation, but it's not something that I'm going to touch on here. I don't really think that's all too valuable. A lot of Canucks fans, though, and this is the one that I agree on, are actually upset that there wasn't an instigator penalty on Wayne Simmonds. Not in particular because Wayne Simmonds was a guy that deserved an instigator penalty, but because the Vancouver Canucks experienced a Travis Hamonic Brady Tkachuk similar altercation in the Ottawa game a few days ago, where Travis Hamonic got himself an instigator penalty for pretty much doing the same thing that Wayne Simmonds did. Now, I personally don't really care on whether or not you believe Simmonds should have gotten an instigator or he shouldn't have. That's not the point here. My point is, when you have literally the same referee giving Travis Hamonic an instigator for exactly the same act that Simmonds did on Edler, when Hamonic did the thing that Brady Tkachuk a few days ago, you gotta keep it consistent. The problem is not that Wayne Simmonds did the thing and that they fought and that there was a code thing going on here. Edler fought out of his own volition. He dropped the gloves, he took the beating, okay, cool, that's it, it's a done deal. But a lot of Canucks fans being super upset about this entire thing sparked a lot more controversy and conversation than I would have liked to see, because we had a ton of Canucks fans going out there saying the entire angle that I don't personally believe in. Oh, why did Edler have to fight? I think if you've been watching hockey for more than like half a year, you probably understand the on-ice flow of a game and why exactly somebody like Alex Edler, who did indeed hurt one of the best Toronto forwards in the way that he did, would have to get up and answer the bell. That's just kind of how hockey has always been. You can talk about how that's dumb or whatever, but at the end of the day, that's how it is. A lot of the conversations got pretty nasty, though, because we still saw a lot of Leafs fans going out there talking about how Edler deserved the beating because he's a dirty player, he likes to hurt people, and he body checks people, and he knees people. There was a highlight package going around on Twitter of Alex Edler, like, body checking guys and kneeing some other guys, and my response to that is that sure, Alex Edler has had his moments as showcased in that video that's been going around where he does kind of do some very physically demanding things. But you can make a highlight package for the majority of NHL players if you compile what is essentially a 10-year career into what is a 1-minute video. Believe me, Vancouver Canucks fans don't like Edler all too much because the guy's a turnover machine sometimes, the guy's slow as molasses out there, and when you're talking about a Vancouver fan base that is so hard on their own players, Alex Edler is one of the first guys on the food chain when it comes to Canucks fans' criticism. Therefore, when you see Canucks fans who will go to bat and talk about how bad Edler is any given night, going out there and defending this guy and saying that, yeah, he's been in this league for a decade, he's not a dirty player, there is some truth behind those emotions, and that's kind of what I'm feeling as well. Edler, to me, is not a dirty player, despite the fact that he has had some really big physical altercations in the past, and by that I mean like body checks and whatnot. He's been suspended before, yes, but all in all, Edler doesn't play the game with that malicious intention that Leafs fans are making it seem out to be like Tom Wilson or Nazem Kadri or whatever. And because of how crazy things got on Twitter, I haven't actually showcased any of the tweets that I've seen. This is the one that I'm going to show you here because James Myrtle of The Athletic and TSN 1050 was kind of joking around because he tweeted out this: I think every Leaf should fight Alex Edler tomorrow night, including both goalies. You've heard the handshake line. This would be like that, only with punching, and a guy who has never fought before. He will never knee anyone again. Or eat solid food. I think you could probably tweet anything about the subject and some would think you were being serious, so Myrtle is joking about this, by the way. I didn't think he was at first, I was shocked to see it. But still, this is the kind of discourse that we have with this Edler-Simmonds thing. Leafs fans super brutal about it, Canucks fans super defensive about it. But to end things off over here, it's done. Edler fought, Simmonds did the thing. Good on Simmonds for standing up for his team, good on Edler for accepting the beating. Should Simmonds have been given an instigator? Well, if Hamonic was given an instigator against Tkachuk, then yeah. But that wasn't the case, so we're done. We're not talking about it anymore. Because more people, Canucks and Leafs fans, bringing it up just end up getting the other fan base super riled up and talking about it as well, which perpetuates this endless cycle of weird conflict going on about something that doesn't even really matter anymore anyway. So talk to me in the comments what you think. I hope you enjoyed this Mr. Ash Wilson 99 Leafs and Canucks again today, eh? And bye.